Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever felt like you were too nice for this world? Like you work hard, you stay loyal, you avoid politics, and somehow you're still the one getting ignored? What if I told you the world doesn't reward the nicest person? It rewards the smartest one in the room? Today, I'm going to talk about a book that completely changed the way I see people, power, and even myself. This book is controversial, uncomfortable, and honestly, a little dangerous if misunderstood. But if you read it with maturity, it might just protect you from being used, underestimated, or controlled ever again. This is the 48 Laws of Power, and here's what it really teaches. When I first heard about the 48 Laws of Power, I honestly thought it was just another dramatic self-help book about manipulation. The title itself sounds intense, almost scary. But when I actually started reading it, I realized it's not just about power in a political or evil sense. It's about understanding how people behave, how influence works, and how the world really functions behind the scenes. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you worked really hard, stayed loyal, stayed honest, and still got ignored while someone else moved ahead faster? That's exactly the kind of situation this book talks about. Robert Greene basically says that the world doesn't run only on talent or hard work. It runs on perception, strategy, and emotional intelligence. And if you don't understand the rules of power, you might become a victim of someone who does. One of the first ideas that really hit me was the concept of never outshining the master. It sounds unfair at first, right? Like, why should we hide our talents? But what Greene explains is very practical. If you make your boss, teacher, or senior feel insecure even unintentionally, they might start seeing you as a threat instead of an asset. So instead of openly showing that you're smarter, you let them feel superior, while subtly building your own influence. It's not about being fake, it's about understanding ego. Another powerful idea is about saying less than necessary. I think this is so relatable in today's world. We overshare, we explain too much, we try to defend ourselves constantly. But when you speak less, you automatically create mystery. People start wondering what you're thinking. Silence becomes power. And honestly, when I started applying this in small ways, when, like, not reacting immediately or not explaining myself too much, I noticed people took my words more seriously. The book also talks a lot about reputation. Greene says reputation is the cornerstone of power. Once your reputation is damaged, everything becomes harder. And that made me realize how important it is to protect how people see you. Not by pretending to be perfect, but by being consistent. If people see you as reliable, disciplined, or calm under pressure, that image itself becomes your strength. There's also this idea of always making other people feel important. This one surprised me because it sounds soft compared to the rest of the book. But think about it. When you make someone feel valued, they naturally support you. People are emotional creatures. We like those who boost our ego. So power is not always about dominating others. Sometimes it's about making others feel powerful around you. One thing I appreciated about this book is that it uses historical stories. It talks about kings, generals, politicians, artists, and through those stories you see patterns. Human nature hasn't changed much. Jealousy, ambition, insecurity, pride, these emotions have always existed, and they still control decisions today, whether it's in offices, businesses, or even friendships. Now, I have to be honest. Some laws feel morally uncomfortable. For example, there are ideas about crushing your enemy totally or using absence to increase respect. These can sound manipulative, and that's where I think maturity matters. This book is like a weapon. In the wrong hands, it can be used negatively, but in the right hands, it becomes protection. If you understand these strategies, at least you won't be naive. What I personally took from this book is awareness. Before reading it, I used to think that being nice is enough. But now I understand that being nice without being smart can make you vulnerable. Power doesn't mean hurting others. It means not allowing yourself to be controlled, ignored, or used. Another powerful lesson is about emotional control. Greene emphasizes that reacting emotionally gives others control over you. When someone provokes you and you react angrily, they win. But when you stay calm, you stay in charge. This is so important in arguments, in business, even on social media. The person who controls their emotions controls the situation. The book also talks about creating compelling spectacles. Humans are visual and emotional. We are drawn to drama, confidence, and bold moves. That's why sometimes quiet hard work is not enough. You also need presentation. You need to know how to highlight your strengths in a way that captures attention. There's a strong focus on timing as well. Greene explains that power is not just about action. It's about the right action at the right time. Sometimes waiting is more powerful than moving fast. Sometimes letting others reveal themselves is smarter than confronting them immediately. If I summarize the feeling of this book, I would say it makes you see the world differently. You start observing people more. You notice who seeks attention, who hides insecurity, who tries to control conversations. It almost feels like learning psychology through stories of power. But I also want to say this clearly. This is not a book you should read to become manipulative. If that's your intention, you'll probably misunderstand it. Instead, read it to protect yourself and to navigate competitive environments smartly. In today's world, especially in corporate life, social media, and business, influence matters. The loudest person is not always the most powerful. The calm, strategic, observant person often is. And that's what this book trains you to become. Observant and strategic. After finishing this book, I didn't feel like becoming ruthless. I felt more aware, more careful about what I say, more conscious of how I present myself, and more understanding of human ego. If you are someone who feels confused about office politics, friendships that feel one-sided, or situations where you feel underestimated, this book can open your eyes. It may challenge your beliefs. It may even make you uncomfortable, but it will definitely make you think. At the end of the day, power is not about control over others. It's about control over yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your image, your timing. And once you master that, people naturally start responding to you differently. That's what the 48 Laws of Power taught me. Not how to dominate the world, but how to understand it. After finishing this book, I didn't feel powerful in a dramatic way. I didn't feel like controlling people. I felt aware of ego, aware of silence, aware of timing, aware of how easily emotions can be used against us. And I think that's the real power, not manipulation, not domination, but self-control. Because when you control your reactions, your words, your image, people automatically start responding differently to you. Maybe power isn't about changing others. Maybe it's about finally understanding the game, so you don't lose yourself in it. If this review made you see power in a different way, let me know in the comments. Do you think power is necessary in today's world? Or should we just focus on being good people? And if you enjoy finance, psychology, and books that change how you think, make sure you subscribe, because on this channel, we don't just read books, we decode them. I'll see you in the next one.